Hello, everyone. Walk Hill Bethelite here, and my car is down at the shop. So I'm just going to, while they do a diagnostic and then let me know how many hundreds of dollars they're going to charge me, I'm going to sit down, relax, and enjoy some of this strawberry. I'm sorry. I have it and don't know what flavor it is. Watermelon summer Ciroc. I just saw red and was like, oh, strawberry. I'm going to enjoy some Ciroc, and we're going to get down to some of about Jehovah's Witnesses because, and if my phone rings, that's probably the auto shop saying, hey, we're about to charge you $8 trillion. So the question is the entire belief structure of Jehovah's Witnesses. What is it based on? Let's get into it. The entire belief structure of Jehovah's Witnesses. If you believe something, you have to have a reason, or you should have a reason to believe it. Hold on, I think that's done. Hello? Hey. Okay. So how much are we looking at? All right, and that's the only issue is just both of them at the same time.
It will run that battery right down because everything, every time you hit the brake or if you got the radio on or lights, anything like that, it's just going to draw that battery.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at 500 and something.
It's going to be 524.49. The battery was 249.99, and then the electrical test was 26.99. So tax and everything, you're going to be looking at about 863.53.
About $800.
Yes, sir.
All righty. And about how long will all of that take? Do you know?
I can have it done probably by 5:30 anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, sir. I'll get her started and we'll get you taken care of.
All right. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye bye.
So that was $800. Now let's get back to the Jehovah's Witnesses here, and let's get back to this Ciroc because this car is about to cost me $800. I'm about to get another car because anytime something goes wrong, it's always $1,000,000. So you have to have a reason to believe something, or at least you should have a reason to believe something, right? So for Jehovah's Witnesses, why do you think the person who is teaching you knows the subject matter well enough to teach it to you? And I'll give you an example. As a kid growing up, I grew up I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, right? So my stepdad, my real father wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, and to this day I wish I'd listened to him. He never, my real father never told me, hey, you're in a cult, or hey, you need to come out of that church, or anything about Jehovah's Witnesses. He never told me anything about Jehovah's Witnesses. We never really had a scriptural debate or anything. He went to a church, but I think he went to a Church of God. My stepdad was an elder, and he would give traveling talks, right? He would give talks at different congregations. So people who did not know my stepdad, he wasn't in their congregation, would sit on a Sunday and listen to him give, oftentimes, the marriage talk. They would listen to him give the marriage talk. Now, I also remember, because I remember that vividly, sitting down while he gives everybody advice on marriage and how to have a successful marriage and things like that. I also remember that we used to have a family meeting on Sundays. And oftentimes the meeting would entail studying briefly, going over what the meetings are going to be about, and does anybody have any issues within the family that they want to talk about. So we get together for our family meeting on a Sunday. At least I believe this is when this was told to us. And I'm just sitting down, Jehovah's Witness kid, never taught about anything else but Watchtower. When I say never taught about anything else but Watchtower, I mean I'm in school, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, daydreaming up a storm, not doing no work. Teacher give me homework, I get home, man, I want to watch cartoons, I want to do something else. And never did I ever get in trouble for that. I have never been put on punishment because I wasn't doing my schoolwork. I was never so much as even talked to by my mom or stepdad about not doing my schoolwork, not doing my homework, sitting in school all day, not doing a thing. Nobody cared about anything else but Watchtower. If I didn't raise my hand at the hall, then I would get talked to. Or at a book study, then I would get talked to. I just want you guys to fully understand that my upbringing, my rearing as a youth onto manhood, I was never taught anything from any adult, anything other than Watchtower. As long as you follow this, you're fine. And even as a kid, it's you ain't got to do your schoolwork. You can fail everything in school. As long as you comment at the meeting, you're fine. And my stepdad is up there giving the marriage talk and talk about family and whatnot. Couldn't care less what I was doing in school. I wasn't bad per se. I just didn't have no reason to do my schoolwork. I had no reason. I could do absolutely positively nothing, go home, and nobody's going to say nothing. They were just used to me getting a report card and just being all D's and whatnot. D's and some F's. So these are the people that are giving advice about families. My stepdad is an elder and just didn't care about nothing going on, with me in particular as far as school or anything like that. Now, let's fast forward to having the family meeting, and they're just telling us all that they're about to get a divorce. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, they're all telling us that they're about to get a divorce. I mean, I'm like, I'm shocked. I'm a witness kid. My dad is an elder. My mom would pioneer from time to time. Everything was supposed to be fine according to my witness upbringing. My witness upbringing was, as long as you're doing your Watchtower, raising your hand, knocking on doors, you ain't got to worry about nothing else. Literally nothing else. Everything else will just work out. Keep seeking first the kingdom and everything else will work out. That was my upbringing. I'm not saying that that's what was taught necessarily in the Watchtower. That's how I was brought up and raised. So to see that my entire family is about to fall apart. Wait a minute. We knocked on all those doors. Wait a minute. We never focused on nothing as a family but Watchtower. How are we about to go through a divorce? We never did nothing but Watchtower stuff. Hall cleanups, cleaning up at the assemblies. Me and my younger sister were on assembly parts. My stepdad would get assembly parts and we would be on it. We never did nothing but seek first the kingdom. So how am I as a teenager sitting down listening to my mom and dad say they were about to get separated? And here's where the indoctrination comes in. So my younger sister immediately starts crying. And my older sister, she starts tearing up also. I can't remember if she just started crying or not, but I think she was really sad. And then I'm sitting there. Keep in mind, my upbringing may have been a little bit different from theirs, but my upbringing was 100%. I ain't never been taught nothing but Watchtower. As long as you're doing that, everything will work out. So I'm sitting up there like, I literally think I said, I don't know why everybody's upset. They're about to work everything out. Like a Jehovah's Witness family should. Okay, so we just got hit by some kind of problem or some kind of issue as a family. I'm sitting here chilling like it's fine. We've been doing everything we're supposed to be doing as Jehovah's Witnesses, so they're going to work it out. I literally sat there and smiled and had faith as a kid that, hey, we've been doing everything right. Heck, you've been traveling all over the place giving talks. Everything will work out. And it didn't. They went ahead and went through with the divorce. That indoctrination in my head wouldn't allow me to believe a Jehovah's Witness family is about to get a divorce. They went ahead and went through with the divorce. Not only that, this is the person who was traveling all over the place giving people the marriage talk. Not only that, but they end up separating. As a part of the divorce, he goes and lives somewhere else. And my mom and the kids, we all stayed in the same house. And I didn't see the man. This guy was an elder going around giving everybody else the family talk. And not only did he get a divorce, but then I find out this is his second divorce. He didn't been divorced before. He get divorced again. This is the second divorce. Not only did I find that out, but I didn't see the guy. Like the guy just completely dropped off. Like he would come by the house every now and again, pick up his mail, and then dip. You know what I mean? So as a kid, I'm like in complete total shock that all this happened. He had been doing things that he wasn't supposed to be doing as far as other women, from my understanding. And And that became knowledge to other people, other relatives. I won't bring up who told me that he was sleeping with somebody while they were separated, but before he got remarried. I won't say who told me all that information, but they're pretty sure that he was doing that. And eventually, I never saw the guy. We never had no talks about life at all. And I don't want to throw the race card out, but I'm black. He's black. You think if anybody needs to be sat down and told about life, and you're African American, y'all see what's going on with the riots and everything. A father figure who's black and a kid who's black, y'all probably need to sit down and have some kind of talk about something. We never talked about nothing but Watchtower. So even during that divorce, at some point I was going to his house to go and study with him. And I found out from another relative that while I was studying with him, again, why do I believe this guy? That's the point. Why do we believe the people who are getting up on this platform telling us all this stuff? Why do I believe the people at the Firestone Auto Shop that it's going to cost $800 to fix my car? Well, they're mechanics. If I go over there and check, I'm sure they've had some kind of official mechanics training. They did a diagnostic on my car. It needs a new battery. The battery's going to cost $1 bazillion. It needs a new alternator. Alternator's going to cost $1 bazillion. Then they're going to charge you another $1 bazillion for the labor. I mean, you believe them because they've had some kind of official training. I'm studying as a young kid or a teenager with my stepdad, and while I'm studying with him, according to a relative, he's sleeping with somebody else. Why do we believe the people on the platform as Jehovah's Witnesses? And a lot of people who are younger, I think one of the reasons why a lot of young people leave is because they know it's fake. They know these people around them are fake. They know the person up on that platform ain't doing what he's teaching everybody else. So I'm studying with somebody that's doing some other stuff with women. And this same person been going all over the place giving a marriage talk and is on his second divorce. Let's have a drink. So keep in mind, while I was studying with him, I didn't know that he was doing other stuff with other women. Otherwise, I wouldn't be studying with him. I was told about this way after the fact. And as a kid growing up, one of the things that drew me to the Jehovah's Witnesses was I figured, hey, if I have to choose a path, I want to choose a for sure path that's going to lead me in the right direction. Like if you want to go to school right now, it's what do I take? What do I major in? That takes forever to figure that out. There's so much uncertainty in life. If I take this course, will I be able to get a job in that course? Will this job still be around? So for me as a kid, I'm thinking, let me just pick whichever is the most sure course. And from everything everybody told me as a kid, I'm telling you, uncles, there was never a male figure that told me anything other than Watchtower stuff, except for my real father. And he never said nothing against the Watchtower stuff. So I figured I was doing the right thing. Come to find out, the person who was giving the marriage talk, my stepdad, on a second divorce, I mean, you can only have so many divorces because eventually you get older and it's just, you just settle down. But on a second divorce, didn't even handle that the right way to my knowledge, because we're in the house and he never freaking would come over. Like we never would even hear from the guy. At some point, I get serious about life. So as a young adult, eventually I get serious about life. And then what do I do? Which is the same thing a lot of young people do. They go back to the hall because that's all they were ever taught about anything. Is if you want to be successful, if you want to just be serious about life, go to the hall and the rest of it will just work out. So I go to the hall and I'm taught about pioneering and I'm taught about Bethel. And I do both. I do what I'm supposed to do on my end. I pioneer and I go to Bethel. The whole reason is, hey, I want to pick the path that's the path of certainty, the path that is going to lead me in the right direction. So even though this path is going to be difficult, there's going to be hardships, quote unquote, the devil is supposed to be after me since I'm pioneering and trying to go to Bethel. At least that's the sure path. I can at least rely on the organization, right? So my stepdad, the elder and everything else, that fell through. Divorce, family stuff falls through. Pioneer, go to Bethel, serve at Bethel for years, and I come to notice that, well, the things that I've been told about Bethel, well, that's not actually accurate. You got nothing against homosexuals, but you're told that that's not good and that's not at Bethel. That's definitely at Bethel. Men and women having sex and things like that's definitely at Bethel. Men and men having sex, I'm sure women and women are. If men and men are, women and women probably are. It's also drinking. Here, let me take another sip to that. I'm trying to be good and do what I'm supposed to do. You got people drinking at Bethel. I hardly ever seen nobody walking around with a case of Coke or Pepsi. There's always beer and stuff. Bethel elder, who is my overseer, every time a tour would come through with women, keep in mind, this guy's married. He's after the women. He runs over there every time there's women there. So now my concept of the people at Bethel is falling through. And I'm thinking, that's where the indoctrination comes in. Jehovah's going to fix it somehow. Okay, my stepdad, everything fell through with him, but that's because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So he's walking around, telling everybody about the marriage talk. And I think he's an elder now. Believe it or not, he's walking around telling everybody about the marriage talk. And whole family falls apart. I'm thinking, well, that's not the organization, that's him. The stuff I was saying people do at the hall that they weren't supposed to do, that's not the organization, that's them. Bethel's different. I get to Bethel. Bethel's not different. You got the same things going on anywhere else you have at Bethel. People aren't getting along. People fighting with the roommate. Like, it's all there. Everything you can imagine that goes on anywhere else is going on at Bethel. The kicker, though, is when I get sit in a room, and I've told this before, and they tell me, and this is after I've been willing to work anywhere. I worked in a food warehouse. I worked in cleaning for a while, building cleaning. I can't remember what that's called. I worked in the moving department for a while. I worked in the infirmary, worked in the laundry. I've been willing to do whatever Bethel tells me to do. I auxiliary pioneered while I was at Bethel. Doing everything Bethel told me to do. Well, I'm sitting in a room and there's Bibles everywhere. Again, keep in mind, my whole purpose was to find the path of certainty, not the easy path. I was aware it was going to be hard to stay away from women. It was going to be hard to stay away from alcohol, which I'm not doing it now. It's going to be hard to stay away from the things that everybody else is doing that are my peers in school. I was okay with the hard. I was okay with persecution. I remember a police officer told us not to be knocking on doors in a specific area because he said the neighbors had called him. And the only reason, I'm telling you, the only reason I left, because I was about to stand up and say, hey, we've got a right to, the only reason I left is because I had kids with me, basically. There were other kids riding with me. So I'm thinking in my head, this ain't the time to, be a martyr for the kingdom and get arrested or whatever. I got kids with me. So I took them back to the hall and then went right back out and started preaching again. I wasn't afraid of persecution. None of that. All I was concerned about was certainty, a path of certainty. The teachings aren't going to change. The organization's not going to change. Jehovah's not going to change. And it all changed. Teachings have changed. Organization has changed. I'm sitting in a room and I have never heard of this happening to a Bethelite before. But where you get sat down and it's not a disciplinary issue, they're saying that they're making cuts. And you're one of the people that's going to have to leave. And that you need to make arrangements to go home. What do you mean Bethel is making cuts? So not only was my stepdad not qualified to be telling everybody the marriage talk, but Watchtower wasn't qualified to be telling everybody to send their kids to Bethel. And that was supposed to be a career. And that we were working directly for Jehovah. Because that fell through also. So everything you're trying to build on quicksand if you're a Jehovah's Witness. Teachings in the past have been wrong. You know they've been wrong. The conduct. People are teaching people to do things that they're not doing. And the organization itself done fell through. I keep saying laid off, but there's no term for it. Just told a bunch of Bethelites they got to go because they were selling buildings and selling buildings in Brooklyn and things like that. And then they ended up building Warwick. So why do you believe what they're telling you? Anybody could have went up to my stepdad and said, hey, you've been giving the marriage talk a lot. So what's your experience with marriage? They could have just asked him. And I'm not sure if he would have told him, yeah, last marriage I had a divorce. About to be on my second divorce now. Like, you know what I mean? When they're telling everybody they should go to Bethel. So what's everybody's experience going to Bethel? Well, they had layoffs in the early 2000s. So all the people they told to go to Bethel, they just had to figure something else out. You know what I mean? Just figure something else out. Just Bethel's no longer your career anymore. They're laying people off, or they're just telling people to go home. They got too many people. You just got to figure something out. I already figured something out. It was to go to Bethel. That's what I figured out. There wasn't never no plan B. When you're at the hall, they never said, well, Bethel should be plan A. And just in case that doesn't work out because there could be layoffs, here's your plan B and plan C. They never said that. It was always plan A, B, and C is Bethel. If you can make it there, just stay there. Bethel fell through. Bethel fell through. So now I'm leaving Bethel, driving home boxes stacked all up in my car, thinking, wait a minute. My family fell through, and I thought it wasn't the organization or Jehovah, it was my stepdad doing what he wasn't supposed to do. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Ain't been sleeping around. Ain't been having no strawberry or watermelon Ciroc. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and here I am, boxes stacked up, driving home from Bethel. Or driving to my father's house in New Jersey. Driving home would have been like 9 hours, 10 hours to get all the way back home. So explain this to me. Where's the certainty? Where's the path of certainty? Jehovah's supposed to be this rock, right? Where you lean on him and trust on him and faith and all this stuff. And for Jehovah's Witnesses, Jehovah and the organization are inseparable. They are inseparable. It's basically the same thing. So I'm at Bethel. That's supposed to be the most secure, safe thing you can do. I don't even want to get into all the stuff that happened while I was at Bethel. As far as the things that people were doing that they weren't supposed to be doing. Who was sleeping with who was going to what club, who was drinking what. I don't even want to get who was beefing with who. Like, I don't even want to get into all that. Who was a racist? Like, you know what I mean? So I went to Bethel. Bethel wasn't even secure. There's nothing secure about that organization. The organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. There's nothing secure about that. And if you think it is, the question is, why do you think it is? Why exactly do you think God is directly leading these people? Stepdad was, I guess, sleeping around and ended up getting divorced. Did you think God was leading him? Okay, because he was up on the platform. So why would that be different from anybody else on the platform? God may not be leading none of them. It don't take God to make a bunch of magazines called the Watchtower Awake. The things that Watchtower does, it didn't take God for them to do it. To print Watchtowers and Awakes and books when you got free labor. I could start a business if I could do it with free labor. The things that they're doing is not that amazing. Oh, they printing Watchtowers in virtual in different languages. They're doing it with free labor that they can even lay that off. So they got the free labor, and they can just lay off the free labor if they need to. It's not that amazing that you're printing stuff in different languages because you ain't paying nobody to do it. They're all doing it free. They're all volunteering to do it. What can't I do if I got millions of people ready to just volunteer to do it? Explain that to me. Oh, well, we knocked on doors. Y'all volunteered to do it. If I can get a couple million volunteers, we can go all knock on doors. Like there's nothing that Watchtower has done that's noteworthy for you to say Jehovah is behind them. Jehovah has to be behind them because of X, Y, Z. You can't look at the conduct per se because I done had my stepdad go everywhere preaching about family, and then the family fell through the second divorce. Bethel done fell through. As far as my situation, you have some people saying, oh, well, I was happy I was in New York or something like that. Like, I was at Wallkill, bro. I wasn't in Brooklyn. I can't even say that. I was in the farm. That wasn't scenic. Wallkill is not scenic. Nobody that's at Wallkill can say, well, at least I got to live in Brooklyn, New York for a while. No, I wasn't in Brooklyn. I was at Wallkill, New York, bro, where it's all rural. It's trees and grass there. So I can't even say that. I've heard some people say, well, as a young kid, that was the only way I could get to New York. Good for you. I was in Wallkill. I wasn't in Brooklyn or even Patterson. And Patterson is where I wanted to go. So what now? I understand why people go to the hall after so many years because they don't know anything else. But the question is, why do y'all believe the people that get up on the platform? Because they're nice guys, so you figure they've got knowledge on the topic that they're talking about because they're nice guys. You figure they've got knowledge. You figure they've got knowledge on the topic that they're talking about because they got it out of a Watchtower. Well, where did Watchtower get it? Remember, millions now living will never die. Remember, and all of them are dead. Remember, the generation of 1914 won't pass away before the end of the world is here, and then that generation passed away. They're getting that information from an organization that has been wrong repetitively. So where I messed up as a kid, which I don't even know how to say I messed up as a kid because I didn't have nobody pulling me in any direction outside of Watchtower. Watchtower was it. I was in this bubble, and the only thing in that bubble was Watchtower. So I guess as a kid, I should have just been bad. I should have just rebelled. I should have just not listened to nobody. That's what I should have done. But then I would have never went to Bethel, never found out that Bethel was a lie. The Bethelites, their conduct, no better than nobody else. And who knows, I might be a Jehovah's Witness right now. If I'd have never gone to Bethel, I'd have never found out that the organization ain't what they tell everybody it is. The only thing other people know about Bethel is what they saw on a tour. They just walk around the building. That's it. That's all they know about it. I done had, at Bethel, I had a sister rubbing her legs on my leg. And I was a single brother at Bethel, surrounded by all these married people, and the women there were all gorgeous. The girl who I talked about this before. I was at morning worship. I sit here. There's a couple that sits on the other side of me, a guy and his wife. I felt something that felt like it was kicking me. No, this girl took her shoe off and is rubbing her leg up and down mine. This girl is bad. Like, if I did something, like, for example, if Bethel had a reason to put me out, it would have been for smashing that. This girl was bad. And I just kind of looked under the table because I like, who's kicking me continuously? Like, okay, I understand you kicked me once, but why? Who keeps kicking me? Nah, she was rubbing her legs all up and down my leg. Woo, that girl was fine. If Bethel had a reason to put me out, if I was doing things wrong, I'd have slept with her. I'd have been like, hey, my roommate goes to the meetings at such and such a day, at such and such a time. You come over. Sneak you over. We can meet wherever. She was fine. A lot of those guys at Bethel that get married, the wives are beautiful because everybody thinks Bethel is paradise. So, you know what I mean? It's the same thing as somebody that's rich getting married. You know, it's something that it attracts women. So, long story short, something popped up on the screen just now. Long story short, it wasn't me. It was Bethel that was in the wrong as far as telling everybody they had to leave. Because if I was doing wrong, the girl that was rubbing her legs all up and down mine, for her to do that, if I'd have went after her, she would have said no. If she was on me like that, we're at morning worship, the table is full of people, and you don't care, you rubbing your leg all up and down mine. What? I'll tell you another thing. After she did that, either that week or the next week, I ended up going to what's called late lunch, where you can't go to the regular lunch because of your work schedule. So you go to a late lunch at a smaller table. There aren't that many people there because most people go to the regular lunch. So I'm at a small table. There's only a couple people there. That same girl that was rubbing her legs all up and down mine, she was at the late lunch. Do you think she was nervous or embarrassed or regretful of what she did? That girl came and sat right next to me at late lunch. If I wanted to hit that, I could have done it then. She sat right next to me. Her husband wasn't there. We could have did whatever. I said no to that. Like, I pushed all that away, thinking Jehovah's the rock. Bethel's the rock. I need to keep leaning on that and everything will be all right. Come to find out, Bethel's telling everybody they got to leave, telling people they got to leave, basically laying off people. It's the same situation of you putting in a lot of work with a company and they lay off. You put in a lot of work with Jehovah's Witnesses and Bethel tells everybody tells you got to leave, you and other people. Me and another sister from the same city had to leave too, and she was a nurse. Like, they were laying off nurses. So if Bethel had a reason to lay me off, it'd have been because I smashed that. I'd have been on this video saying, well, I got put out of Bethel because I smashed this Bethelite's wife. You know what I mean? But no, I didn't hit that because it was hard, because I was single. I didn't have no other girl at the time. But I was willing to go through that. I was willing to put myself through whatever it took because I figured Bethel, at least that was stable. And it wasn't. Everything that Jehovah's Witnesses have said is falling through. The predictions of the end of the world is falling through. Why do you believe this random person that's in front of you? I got my car over there at Firestone. I half trust them. I took it to Firestone because Firestone is a well-branded name. There's other auto shops that have a name ain't nobody heard of. I barely trust Firestone. I think they BSing me right now about this $800. You know what I mean? I barely trust them. So my question is, why are y'all trusting Watchtower? Comment down below. You tell me. Why you trust Watchtower? And don't start off, well, Jehovah just talks to them. We don't know how Jehovah talks to them. We don't even know who Jehovah talks to. But Jehovah is somehow transferring information to somebody in Watchtower, and they're telling people to print what Jehovah's telling them in the watch. Like, stop it. Give me a real reason. Because a Jehovah's Witness, like, nutcase, one of those, they're just going to say, well, Jehovah this and Jehovah that. They don't even know it's an organization of men. They literally think God is writing the Watchtower magazine and giving it to them. They got no sense. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. I'll finish my Ciroc deliciousness. X Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.